What's up, everyone? You're tuned in to the channel Eps. I'm your host, EEPMON, episode 110. And today, on a Saturday evening, I'm going to keep it relatively short. And I want to talk about delayed gratification. That's right, folks. Delayed gratification. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, delayed gratification is something where I have learned as I continue my career, building my career as a creative entrepreneur, because one can easily be tempted to buy things, tempted to get the latest and greatest hardware, temptation to get the latest fashion trends and items. And that's the type of world we live in, right? We live in a capitalist society where materialism essentially runs the economy. We have to buy things. We need to purchase things in order to, you know, some people use it to flaunt their wealth. Some people have a nice car, want to show it off to the world. Some people like to express who they are. They like to buy clothing and as a way to express their personalities, right? Um, so there's what I've noticed that there were a lot of things that can easily have tempted me, but over the years, or at least over a decade, 15 years, more than a decade actually, that I've learned to restrain myself, to have restraint, in that I would always ask myself, do you really need this? Do you really need this? For example, I go back to my previous laptop that I owned. It was a mid 2010 MacBook Pro, 13-inch. And it wasn't until 2021 that I got the MacBook Pro M1. Okay, so that laptop lasted me more than like 10 years. And the crazy thing about it is that until I got that new laptop, or it's not new anymore, but I've been using it for both my creative and this concepting production. I was working on projects with it. I really stretched the heck out of that machine. And it was in a way, it was a delayed gratification, right? Because I as much as like I skipped several iterations of the MacBook Pro lineup upgrades. I could easily have gotten one, but I felt that I would be just throwing money at something where I would really question how much would it really improve my productivity. Like really, how much would it really improve? Like what? Um 10 seconds more, an hour more. Sorry, our hour, like improved by an hour, improved by like by 24 hours, perhaps even improved by a week of performance. Sorry, it would give me back that much time. I don't know, but even if it did, I'm willing to stomach it with the old machine, because if it was perceived to be slower, then oops, sorry, my bad. Then I would just have to. Oh my god, what are you doing? Then I pressed the wrong button, folks. Then I would just have to be more patient with it. So much so that as the years went by, I I I found it quite amusing where a lot of my peers would be getting their latest laptop. And I really now was a matter of like how I want to challenge myself. How long can I hold with this machine? Like how long? So from delayed gratification to actual like a form of amusement for me, entertainment to see how long this thing could last. And to this day, I have it right next to me. I still use it to for some of my day-to-day operations. Not all the time, but I still use it. So I never threw it out. I didn't sell it because I still think it has uses, and it does. But anyway, that's one example. Delayed gratification is like just being able to discipline yourself, and if you can hold it off and it's not a necessary need, then you will get over that emotional euphoria of like, oh, I really want this thing, oh, and it's gonna go away. It's just sort of like, and it's gone. Like that emotion of like feeling, I want to have that that item. I really really want it. Now, I'm not perfect. There are times that I sometimes have to break the bank, splurge a bit, but only when you can, and only when you have done enough delayed gratifications to celebrate just a little bit, just a little bit. As you can see, folks, I have some band-aids on my hands. I accidentally I was biking this morning, and it was raining, and I kind of slipped and I fell. So stupid. Good thing I had my helmet on, but mostly I landed on the pavement. I was biking, and that's why on my hands and this where I got some scratches. Just be careful, folks. Jeez. It's funny. I started running. I've been running a long time, but it's only recently that I started biking, and I've injured myself more biking than I ever have with running. So, geez, I don't know. I don't know. That's the universe is sending me a message. But anywho, uh, but yeah, delayed gratification I think is a very important skill. Actually, I do wonder if people practice it. Is that something you folks do listening? You listeners, are there examples of delayed gratification that you have done? And if you want, please leave a comment, and love to see and hear what you have done with the concept or notion of delayed gratification. But that was so my entire career. I was always, it's a way of budgeting too, right? It's like, look, you're up to your own devices. It's only you. You're the only one who's like, creative entrepreneur. As artists and creators, we have to be very aware of our budgeting, extremely, because as I like to think, we have one of the hardest gigs in the game. So being able to um, manage efficiently your finances is just as important as creating the work, marketing your work, getting your work out there. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, there's a lot of things that I have to do behind the scenes to ensure that I can put food on the plate, you know? And yeah. So over the years, just for my personal use case and my past experience, um, delayed gratification also it goes hand in hand with frugality, being very frugal, knowing when to spend, knowing when it's the right timing, not going out to eat all the time, doing your groceries, eating at home. I just cooked a meal. It was fantastic. And if anything, being a entrepreneur or working as EEPMON, as my little business and my artist world, I learned, as I mentioned earlier, like I learned more about myself. It taught me a lot of things. It taught me about frugality. Taught me about this delayed gratification. It taught me how to be strategic, be very very aware of my surroundings, knowing how to budget financially. And I know there were some people out there. I remember in the past they would think that, oh, eat my, like, they would. I don't know if they really thought that way, but I almost felt as if like, this guy's so cheap. This guy's so like, what the, why is he like, money pinching everything. But it's not until later that they realized, oh, now I know why you're like this. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not easy at all to do what you do, and especially to navigate the volatile waters that is our industry. You know, a lot of people have this, you know, expectation of a paycheck every 2 weeks. We don't. We don't, right? Us artists, we don't have that. We don't. So, but it's not until they cross over in our world, perhaps not as an artist, but just as an entrepreneur, then they realize, yeah, oh, I see. No, that's why you're all about the sales. That's why you're all about, doing your groceries. That's why you're. So yeah, I hope I don't come across as some, like, boring individual. Though I do find my entertainment in other things, like drinking this coffee, like cooking a meal, like going on a bike ride and falling down. And solitude, folks. You know, I guess delayed gratification also goes in this territory. Solitude will be part of your adventure as an artist, as a, as, and as, yeah, I mean, like, um, you have to get used to it. You know, artists, most of the time, is a very solitude craft, a solitude endeavor. And there are certain times of the day where we are at our best doing certain tasks. So the people outside who have these expectations and when we should do this and do that, it's like, no, it doesn't really work that way in our world. We call the shots mostly when we want to create our best work at the best time. So it's a very solitude thing because not many people are going to understand that. Not many people are going to go, well, but everyone goes to 9 to 5. Everyone goes 9 to 5. So like, what are you doing? Like. But yeah, well, our world is different. But yeah, that's the I just thought I'd do a little spiel about delayed gratification because I think more and more I think this kind of stuff needs to be taught in education, like in schools. Remember, we're growing up, we never learned about how to budget ourselves, do our finances. We never learned about taxes. We never learned about how to pay our credit card bills and why it's important. Why the minimum payment is absolute, like why you shouldn't be paying your minimum amount. You know what I mean? I don't want to go off on a different rant, but maybe I'll rant about it in the future. But like, I was just like watching a YouTube video, and I thought that the United States had the biggest credit card debt in the world. I don't know if it was in the world, but anyway. But apparently, in Canada, we are about $2.5 trillion of credit card debt. We surpassed the people in the United States. That's just that's incredible. That's crazy. That's like, what? So are you telling me that a lot of people are just paying their minimum $10 a month to pay their credit card bill, and they think that's okay. Most people think. I hope that people don't think that's okay. You know, again, we weren't taught this in school, folks, right? We would have learned about this in elementary school or high school or whatever. Instead, we were probably, as I recall, they were promoting it as if it's like free money. It was like, here it is, here's a line of credit, credit card. Ooh, you are part of the adulthood, owning your first ever credit card. But you know who really taught me about credit cards? It was my parents, especially my mom. She would kick my ass if I did not pay it in full. Like literally, she'd go Tiger Mom hardcore on me and ask me if I'm a effing ass because like what are you doing? Are you stupid? Are you stupid? What are you doing? Um, she said more than that, but I'll be very gentle on the YouTubes. But that basically instilled this sort of kind of this fear and sort of like you got to pay it off. Like, and it also, when I look at credit cards, I don't know how I went from delayed gratification to freaking credit cards. You know what? I'm going to talk about on a separate episode. That's what I'm going to do. My next episode will probably be about my thoughts on credit card debt. Anyway, you know what? I'm going to stop at that. It is Saturday night. I'm enjoying my coffee. But yeah, folks, I think delayed gratification is very, very important. Um, uh, and so the next time, perhaps when you're looking at an item or something, and you're like, oh, do I really need it? Perhaps it's a good thing to make an assessment. Now, guilty as charged. You know, sometimes there's times that I do it. There's times that I don't. But when there's times that I don't, I ensure that I'm able to afford it. Okay? Big difference. If you can't afford it, then it's not even on the table. All right, folks, have a great evening. Have a great afternoon. Have a great morning wherever you are in the world. This is the channel. I hope you like what I had to say. So like and subscribe. Would really appreciate it. And until tomorrow, I'm going to Montreal tomorrow. Woohoo! All right. Have a great evening. Bye-bye. My damn Band-Aid.